Hello, this is Ron with Ron's Fuel Stop, and I know I said I was going to give you an update about every week or so, but sometimes life overtakes things. Uh, since my last fuel stop, been able to do one of the things that was my goal in becoming an independent contractor, and that was to be able to take time off when I wanted to. And I got to fly out and see my dad out in Montana and see him in his recovery process as he came home from the hospital after an accident. Great to be able to do that. Anyway, those of you that know me know how much important that was to me and how much that was a part of the transition into this independent contractor role. Anyway, back on the road again. Last night I was at a fuel stop over in I-70, not far from Dayton. There's a Petro there, right where 35 goes south. And I'm going to give a shout out to Larry there from that Petro. For under $40 you can upgrade your CB, and he did a number on mine last night. I gotta say, I went from like 15 watts to 30 watt output. Really getting out there, really enjoying it. So anyway, CBs are still an important tool for truckers because of weather and traffic updates. There's really no other way to get it in real time. And but one of the downfalls is you get to listen to everybody talk on the CB that has nothing better to do than to downgrade, be negative about races, get into political discussions and religious discussions and complaining about things. And so it's the complaining about things that I really want to mention right now. When you're a truck driver, a lot of times you feel like you're not in control of your own fate. You have delivery appointments. Traffic affects your delivery time. Weather greatly affects you. Shippers, I'm at a shipper right now, Cisco, and every time I go to a Cisco, I plan on it's going to take me 5 hours to unload. But hey, I got a good amount of money to come in here, and so if it doesn't take me longer than 5 hours, I'll be happy. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about how to personally deal with the complaining. And you can't really affect everyone else's complaining, but you can affect your attitude toward it, and you can affect your own complaining. And from it, I'm going to say it starts from a little thing we call self-discipline. Let me get into this. So defining success. I think success is meeting your own goals. And your own goals are things that you set and those around you end up setting as well in order to move toward the desires that you have. Everyone has small goals, and some of those small goals often I've had to adopt in order to move toward larger desires. For example, I wanted to have the ability to be able to take time off when I wanted to, and the ability to make more money. That was part of my decision in becoming an independent contractor with my company. Guess what? Those two things don't happen in the same week. I don't get to make more money and take time off in the same week. What I do is I work very hard. I push my 70, and I plan carefully. And I have the self-discipline to get up early and to think about the possible things that could go wrong during a day, traffic, look on the internet about weather, and I try to stay ahead of all these things through self-discipline. This morning I got up at 3:15 so I can make a 5:15 appointment an hour away, and that self-discipline helps move me toward meeting other people's goals, which helps move me toward my goals. I adopt their goals. Their goal to be on time becomes my goal to be on time. And in truth, I don't get to do both of my goals in the same week. So I work very hard, and then I take some time off, and it's awesome. When I'm off, I try to be off for more than 2 days because it takes a day and a half just to start to feel like you're off and get your mind off of it. At about that 2 day point, you're really starting to enjoy yourself and unwind. And at about the 3 day point, you're going to have to get ready to go back on the road, because now you got to go back and you've got to earn money again. You've got to work hard again. And so it's adapting to, that's life. That's the way this is going to work. I think back on my jobs. I've entered into each one of my jobs because they offered me an opportunity to move toward one of the desires that I had. But the bottom line is that I've had to discipline myself in my attitude to take the things that are other people's goals. So even when you don't have a boss, you still have a boss. You have a shipper that requires you to talk through a speaker to them and not get any specific instructions. And if you fail to read one of their lines on their instructions, you got to go back into the shipper again and read the space on the parking lot where you dropped your trailer, because that's what they require. And you can't say, when they ask you to go back and read that space and tell them it was space XYZ, you can't say, well, I'm an independent contractor, so I don't have to do what you say. No, you have to adopt their thing and make it your own, and deal with your attitude in the process. So the bottom line is we discipline our attitudes, and we adopt other people's desires and we make them our own desires. How's it going, Tucker? By the way, Tucker is with me yet today. I think he's in the back, but I don't know if you can see him back there. Hey, Tucker. What's going on back there? You come to see me? There's little Tucker. Come on. Come up here. See the people? Tucker got to have a little run around in the parking lot here. He likes this place. They have some nice grass. Grass is nice. Certain things you can take care of in grass that you can't take care of anywhere else. Anyway, so these relationships that we have in our jobs and as a trucker, I think they are kind of transactional. I'm going to do something for you that you need done, and then you'll do something for me that I need done, and we'll call it good. In fact, it seems like it's very easy for everything to degrade into just being a transactional relationship. Even with our friends, hey, I'm going to help you and then you'll help me, and I'm friends with this person because they have that piece of equipment, or my relationship with my family or my wife can become transactional. I do this for them and they do this for me, and we're both happy. But in the end, I think that is very unfulfilling. To me, I like to move something, like in shipping. I got here on time, but immediately, and I've talked about this before, I related to the last time I was here. When I walked in, I said, hey, here's the guy who runs a tight ship. He looks at me, and I'm like, yeah, I remember the last time you were here. You were barking out orders, and you had everybody in line, and I bet you that at the end of the day, your boss is happy that you work for him. That changes the situation. That went beyond, I guess, what I had to do today, and I don't expect him to go beyond what he has to do. I just enjoy moving something from transactional to what's called transformational. Transformational is when, and this happens so often with your attitude, when you move beyond what just something that has to be done, and you move into something that you can do that is beyond what you have to do. I really enjoy doing that kind of thing. So our attitudes can make those around us change their attitude, and they make our day a better day. So anyway, you got to know when to stay out of it. I mean, when you're driving down the road and you hear somebody talk, I remember the other night I was in where was I? It starts with a Fort Wayne, and then I was at the pilot there, And there was some guy who got onto CB. I don't know. I know he was a trucker. I know he was in the lot. There's about 400 spaces in that Pilot. And he was just, he was saying, who's going to get out of their truck and fight me? He says, you are all too chicken to get out of your truck and fight me. And he was describing where he was, and he's waiting for somebody to come back to him on the CB. And he says, I'm a big, mean, and he was describing himself as a certain race, and then he was picking on people of other races, and he was just trying to incite somebody on the CB to fight with him on the CB. I don't know whether or not he really wanted somebody to fight with him. And like, people have nothing better to do than to complain and to get a fight going. There's a lot of immaturity out here, isn't there? But I know a lot of you guys and gals, you're educated, or you're self-educated. You are mature. You're emotionally mature. You know you have a desire to keep your emotions in check. You have a desire, and so you got to know when to get into the fight and when to stay out of it. When you can make a difference and when you really can't make a difference. So that was when I was really tempted to get on my CB and use some intellectual conversation to put that guy that was quite ignorant in his place. But I tried to refrain. Instead, I turned my CB off. That was probably the most self-disciplined thing I could do. Anyway, today is supposed to be a warm day here on the 19th day of February. And it's supposed to hit down here in Cincinnati. I heard it on NPR, it's going to hit 60 degrees. That'd be pretty cool. I'm headed north. Heavy wind today, so if you're driving, I would say that if a side wind gets to be over 45 miles an hour, I might want to get off the road. And that depends on how much weight I got. I know that I'm going up and I'm getting 44,000 pounds. I'm headed up to Coldwater, Michigan. And so I'm not too worried if the wind is gusting up to 50, 55 because of how much weight I'm going to have on. But it is a factor. So, this is Ron with Ron's Fuel Stop. Feel free to leave a comment. I haven't got a Facebook yet for Ron's Fuel Stop, but I guess somebody told me I should get that specifically. But you're welcome to leave a comment here on YouTube, and you can get your own YouTube channel, and then you can leave comments. Just trying to be a uplifting voice in the truck driving community and in the community at large. So, have a great day. Blessings on you. And signing off today, right near I-70 on Ron's Fuel Stop.